Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're actually watching this. It is I, Jim Lettuce, your host with the most, your fearless leader, Mr. Lettucehead himself. This is the vlog for January 2024, first vlog of the year, first vlog of season 8 or 9. I don't remember which season this is. It's basically every season is a new year. Or rather, each new year I do it is a new season. Anyways, I digress. Welcome to the show. I hope you like the gameplay. It's probably me playing the Lego Racer game, but there's like a 1% chance that it's Call of Duty or something else. Anyways, let's get this going. So, let me pull up my notes here. I'm going to try to do this in one shot. I've only got like a few inches left of my Diet Coke, to wet the palate. So we'll see if I can make it last the whole vlog. Anyways, without further ado, first of all, I want to talk about how 2023 went by very fast. And a lot of people have been talking about the conspiracy theory about how time is speeding up for everyone, not just people that get older, because when you get older, time goes faster because your perception of time is less relative. Like when you're 2 or 3 years old, 1 year is like half your life. It's a big deal. But when you get older, 1 year is a smaller and smaller portion of your life. So you perceive it as going by faster. But there's a theory that ever since, I don't know if it's either like COVID or Harambe or something, there's like, you can look it up. There's all these events where people don't know which one it was, but time really is going faster. At least that's what it feels like. And basically, time really is going faster. And so that means that 2024 is going to go by even faster than 2023. I mean, we're already almost done with January. In fact, we're already done. I'm recording this on February 1st because I procrastinated. I was supposed to finish this before February, but, it is what it is. New Year's went well. I made a successful New Year's video. Last year I tried to make a video where I'm in Grand Theft Auto in Los Santos and I jump out of a plane at midnight, but I tried to jump out of an oppressor, which is like this jet ski that flies in the air basically, and it doesn't let you jump out of those, so it just started trying to land, so I was just stuck there during New Year's. It was so lame. I'm pretty sure I deleted the video. But this year went by great. The frame rate and the bit rate looked so just chef's kiss. Mwah! Check that out. It's called Spending New Year's in Los Santos with Jim Lettuce or something like that. And it went well. And I also figured out how to do my moving avatar really quick. So if you've been watching the channel for a while, you know that I want to transition into being a VTuber, and the process finally began because I pretty much quit doing my face cam because I got tired of having to make sure that my skin and hair looked good for a video every day, and it's too much trouble. So now I just do audio, but I wanted to have I saw this other YouTuber, and he had like an avatar that would like bounce to his voice. And I set out on a quest to figure that out because I left a comment on his video, but he did not answer, and I'm butthurt because he normally answers most comments. Not always my comments, but he's answered mine before, so I thought surely he'll answer this one. No, he didn't. Anyways, I figured it out. If you look in the description of my New Year's video for 2023, it's in there. There's a link to 2 or 3 tutorials that some random YouTuber made that are really good, that show you how to do it. There's like a simple way to do it, and then there's a more complicated, better way to do it. I ended up using the simple method, but I don't want to go find the links again, so just go to that video. It's in there, and it'll show you how to do it. However, I don't have that avatar in this video because I kind of do these pre-recorded. What I do is I record the audio in GarageBand, and then I just put it to, you know, game video or whatever. So yeah, there you go. Alright, the next thing I want to talk about is health issues. I've been having some health issues this past year, and don't worry, I'm not dying or anything like that, but man, I don't really want to get into the details, but just eat healthy. Exercise, please. Do it for me. Do it for Jim Lettuce. But also, do it for you. You'll thank me when you get older. Dang it, I just took a swig of my Diet Coke and I forgot I have hardly any left. Now I have even less. I gotta pace myself with these sips here. Alright, what else is on my list? Remnant 2, the sequel to Remnant from the Ashes, the hit game on PlayStation 4. That game is so cool. It's kind of like Dark Souls mixed with Tarkov, where it's like a third-person shooter, and you're in this like hub world where you gather your potions and stuff, kind of like Monster Hunter actually, and then you go into the world and you fight these like monster things, and then whatever you keep, you like whatever you survive with, that's what you bring back to the hub world. Then you know, restock on ammo, and then you go back and do it again. So much fun. I got really into it, and Remnant 2 is the hot sequel. Financially, I don't think it did that well, but it looks great. Graphics are great. I got it on PS5. I'm gonna have, you know, gameplay of me doing it. I think I did like a live stream of it when I first bought it, but I plan to do more, probably some kind of pre-recorded video or maybe a live stream. I'm actually thinking about starting the live stream daily again. I don't know. Since I don't have a face cam, it's easier. And I started thinking like, you know, I'm playing video games at least an hour or two a day. Why not live stream it? You know what I mean? Anyways, Remnant 2 is pretty awesome so far. If you're on a PS5, the best frame rate is balanced. If you do unlocked frame rate, it starts screen tearing. That's only good if you're on a PC. And if you're on 30 frames a second, you could just take your ass back to 2005, okay? We're in 2024, the future, baby. It's all about 60 frames per second. So yeah, so balanced is the best frame rate priority for PlayStation 5. Now let's move on to my reviews of everything. Whenever I'm trying to figure out what to talk about on this vlog, I end up just doing reviews of shows and movies that I watch, so get ready. I finally saw Aquaman 2. You might be thinking, I didn't know Aquaman 2 came out. A lot of people feel that way because they didn't promote it very well. I think it's one of those cases where after they filmed it, they realized, oh, this is terrible, and they just didn't promote it. Because promotion costs a lot of money, and they want to, you know, write off their losses on taxes, so they'll just, like, stop promoting it. But it was actually pretty good, because I went into it thinking it was going to be terrible, and I thought, it's okay. I don't know if I'm going to buy the Blu-ray or anything, but if it's on streaming and you got nothing to do, it's, you know, there are worse ways to kill 2 hours. It is like 2 hours, 2.5. It's so long. Why are movies so long now? But anyways, it's a pretty good sequel. James Gunn is rebooting the DC Cinematic Universe, and Aquaman was one of the people he did not cut. He famously got rid of Superman and the Flash, at least the way they are now, the actors. But Jason Momoa released one of those like Instagram selfie type videos saying, no, I just signed a deal with James Gunn and DC and Universal. That's the movie studio that does these movies. And he said, they're not cutting me. They're not replacing me. And I think after Aquaman 2 flopped, they're probably going to replace him. It's a bummer because I like Jason Momoa. However, in this movie, he was looking a little chunky, and you know, he's also getting older. He's like 50, which is crazy. He looks great. He doesn't look that old at all. And you know, I know that he's going through some personal stuff because I'm calling it. All that Amber Heard, Johnny Depp stuff, I think he was involved in that. I'm pretty sure he got with Amber Heard. That's what I think. That's my theory. Because he had to testify at the Amber Heard, Johnny Depp trial. I know that much. And Jason Momoa quietly got divorced with his wife around that time. And then he's all, you know, chunky in this one and the last Fast and Furious movie that probably was worse than this. And it's like, oh, that explains why he might have been a little, you know, overweight. Because he's depressed and he's dealing with like a divorce and stuff. So I don't know. This is mere speculation. I've done absolutely zero research. So I'll leave that up to you. But the movie itself was okay. The production value is off the hook though. It looks great. Fantastic. It's a bit more goofy though. The first one was mostly serious and it had a few funny moments. This one was way too self-aware, way too goofy. They were making too many jokes and I think that's what hurt it. They should have been a little bit more serious this time around. They brought back the same villain from the first one. What's that guy's name? He's good. Let me see. Let me see if I can pull up IMDb. Aquaman. IMDb. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. That's what this one is called. There's no colon. It just says and the Lost Kingdom. But who's the villain? Alright, I'm going to do my best to pronounce this guy's name right. Yahya Abdul Mateen II. So he's a junior. Shout out to other juniors. I'm a junior. It's actually Jim Lettuce Jr. Jim Lettuce Sr. was the great explorer. My father. He sailed across the seas of Mars. Anyways, this guy, Yahya Abdul Mateen II, I'm calling it. This is the next big star. Obviously, he's already a star. He's in the freaking Aquaman movie. He was also Morpheus in that terrible Matrix 4 movie. But he's great as always. And they left it open for a sequel. He kind of wasn't really the villain in the first one, now that I think about it. He was like a side villain. The main villain in the first one was the guy from those Nun movies. What is it? The scary Insidious, that guy. He also played the owl in Watchmen, if anybody remembers that movie. It's so old now. But he was like the main villain in the first one. He plays Aquaman's brother. And in the second one, they have to like break him out of prison. It's very like sequel-y, you know. It's a very by the numbers safe corporate sequel a la Fast and the Furious, which isn't really bad, honestly. I've grown to love these kind of movies, these like dumb, fun. Mission Impossible 2, same thing. And I liked it. I actually recommend the movie, but you know, it didn't it just didn't do very well. It's unfortunate. Alright, I lost my notes. Okay. Alright, we're moving on from Aquaman. Now I want to complain about Andromeda, okay? Andromeda was... Wait, I gotta move my little timeline here. I have to like monitor it on Rock Band here. Okay, so Andromeda is an old TV show from... Well, let me pull it up on IMDb here. Andromeda... No, I put a Y. There. TV series from 2000 to 2005. It was a sci-fi show, like a Star Trek kind of thing, right? But, see, this show, when it was out, I really was not into Star Trek back then. I'm really into Star Trek now, but back then, I wasn't really into sci-fi. I wasn't really into Star Wars either. Usually, people are one or the other. I had neutral feelings about Star Wars and Star Trek back then. But, at the time, it was like a really lame-looking Star Trek. I remember whenever it would come on, after some show I would watch, I would change the channel because I'd like, oh, this is a weak, weak ass Star Trek. Looks like crap, and it's got that guy from Hercules. What's his name? Kevin Sorbo. And I was like, because I liked the Hercules show back then, but it just seems so crappy. And now that I'm older, so what am I getting at is that if you want nostalgia, right, there's only so many TV shows and movies you can watch from when you were a kid to get nostalgia, and it runs out. It's like chewing your gum and the flavor runs out. So I figured out a hack or a trick. What you do is you watch other movies and shows that came out around the same time that were competitors. Even if they're not as good, it doesn't matter. You are able to harvest a lot of nostalgia that way. It's a good way to get nostalgia. And so I'm getting like pure 90s nostalgia, even though this was the early 2000s. It's great. However, the downside is... Oh, where's my notes? I left my notes. The downside is that halfway through season 2, the show completely changed. Or not really, I think it was like the end of season 2. It was really good, and then what happened was I had to look it up on Reddit and deep dive on all this stuff, and I found this forum that explained it. So the showrunner got fired, or he quit, or some kind of drama happened, and the showrunner's gone. So the tone of the show completely shifted, and it wasn't this cool, kind of dark sci-fi, kind of like Farscape, like this is not a kid's show kind of thing. It changed to this like really corny Monster of the Week kind of show, and God, it was just so lame after that. I couldn't even get through an episode. It was so lame. I'm really sad about it, because that means once again I have to search for another show. The problem with shows, like I find shows that have like 1 million seasons, not because I need a lot of episodes, well I do, but I don't want to have to look for another show. This had like 8 seasons, and I was so happy, but... So if you're watching, after season 2, it just... I don't want to give anything away, but there's like a time travel kind of episode. Once you get through that one, just turn it off and you'll be fine. Okay? Now, let's talk about another show I started watching because I had to look for something else, right? And I've always heard about this show called The Wire. It's an old show. A lot of these, when I say old TV shows, what I mean is like pre-Netflix and specifically pre-House of Cards Netflix. I think once House of Cards, the original Kevin Spacey one, not the British one, but the American one with Kevin Spacey on Netflix. I say that because they're probably going to reboot it at some point. But that changed the TV game. That changed the whole streaming landscape. Like, shows like The Office, Friends, The Wire as well. These were before that revolution. And so there were different requirements of a show back then. And I think they were not competing for streaming subscriptions anymore. So they didn't really have to be consistently good. Not that these shows weren't good. I mean, they're hit shows for a reason. But nowadays, shows have to have that, like, social media, YouTuber, influencer, like, they have to constantly get you and give you those, like, dopamine hits to keep you coming back for more and paying that subscription fee. And these old shows, they were more, they had cable subscriptions, which were very similar, actually, but they were more of a... It was more guaranteed back then. So there's just a different vibe. The way they spin the plots, the way things pay off, like the build-up and the payoff. It was just more steady back then. And The Wire is an example of this. So The Wire is a crime show drama that was originally on HBO, which is now defunct. It's just Max now. But it was on HBO back in the day, and it's about these cops trying to catch these drug dealers in this like specific group of apartments, and they end up having to like use wiretapping and like technology. And you have to understand, this was early 2000. doing this to catch criminals was a relatively new idea. That's why it was in the TV show. It is still post 9/11. It came out like right after 9/11, but so like at that point, looking for criminals in an out of the box way, like thinking outside the box, was becoming an idea, especially after 9/11. But it was still a new concept, so it's interesting. It's an interesting time capsule to see. They all have like beepers, and they're like, what? What's a wiretapping? Wow! It wasn't so old that they didn't know what wiretapping is. Like wiretapping happened in like the 60s, right? Like with the Cold War, but the way it's implemented with computers, and it's not in some mega super secret FBI office. These like regular policemen are able to use it. It was a big deal. I'm halfway through season 2. It's pretty good so far. Season 1 is like, the main thing, and then season 2, you can tell they were successful. They have more money, and they're trying to like shift the plot to these new criminals, but they're still keeping track of like the old criminals from season 1. And every time people talk about it online, they say once you get into like the later seasons, it starts to get really good. And it's already pretty good. If you check out my Twitter, which is, it'll be a link in the description, but it's at LettuceJim. And check that out. I found a clip of this one cop saying, shit. Because apparently he says it all the time on the show, and it's so funny. Because I'd seen these memes of a guy saying that, and I didn't know that was from this show. So when I saw it in the show, I was like, hey, that's that meme. So, newsflash, most memes come from super old shows, actually. But it has 5 seasons, so I'm trying to pace myself. I don't want to run out. Yeah, I'll let you know how it goes. Let's talk about another show, a really, really good show called Reacher. Based on the Jack Reacher books. There was a Tom Cruise adaptation a few years ago. He made 2 of them. They're really good. No hate to Tom Cruise. He did a great job. But the character in the books is like a huge, like 6'5" big dude. And the guy who plays him in the new one is spot on. I'm only comparing him to Tom Cruise though. I've never read the books. Let's see, Reacher, IMDb. What the? No. Google, stop. It's like you want to click the thing, but it clicks the one below it. So this is the long-awaited Reacher Season 2. The first season came out a couple years ago. I think it was like right during the pandemic, but I think they filmed it before the pandemic. It's like 2020. But the second season has been so like a long awaited. I think the writer's strike affected it, and it took a while for them to release it, and I was worried they canceled it or something. But it's pretty cool. And it does not disappoint. If you don't know what Reacher is, he's like this army dude that kind of like travels from town to town and solves mysteries. But he's like a very, it's almost like a detective show, really. He's like a detective, and he has these very specific methods and tactics he uses. And the first season was him in this small town, and he's looking for a guy that like killed his brother, I think. And he ends up making friends with this random FBI agent, and then he also is working with this lady cop who was super beautiful and hot. And it's a good season. And then season 2, you get to see his like old army buddies come from the past, which is really cool because he's such a mysterious character. So to see his old like army buddies really helps you understand who Reacher is. And there's a bunch of them. There's like 5 or 6 of them. And it's a classic plot of, people in the old team are getting murdered one by one, and we got to figure out who it is. This is actually a very recycled plot from a lot of things. But it's good writing when they can take an old recycled plot like that It's been done a million times and do it really good. I like how each character in his team is like a different personality, very Avengers-ish. The bad guy from Terminator 2 is in it. This one guy named Ferdinand Kingsley plays this like terrorist type dude. He's really good. Who's the guy who played like one of the guys on his team is like this dude who he like always has like a switchblade and brass knuckles, and it reminded me of Streets of Rage. It was a really cool character. He has a love interest named Carla Dixon, played by Serinda Swan. She's really good. Everybody in the whole show is really good. They bring back... So in the first season, you do see his old army buddy, Frances Neagley. And she shows up for a few episodes. And in this one, she's back. She's in the whole season this time. She's got charisma. Amazon, if you're watching this, you should give her her own show. Or get a spinoff. Get like a spinoff TV show with her character. I think that could be cool. But all in all, it was really good. I liked it. I can't wait for season 3. I know that it's doing gangbusters. It's probably, if they do come out with it, it'll be like 2 years from now. So good luck with that. Alright, what else? Let's moving on to a new subject. I finally went to In-N-Out Burger. I went there once, like 10 years ago, and all I remember was that the fries tasted like sawdust, and I just hadn't been there in so long. But the other day, I had to take my elderly father to the doctor, and on the way back, he was like, "Let's get a burger," and I was like, "All right, fine, I'll let you buy me food." And we went into In-N-Out, because apparently he goes all the time. I didn't really know that. And I thought, whatever, I'll just eat it. It was great. It reminds me of Shake Shack, but way less expensive. So if you like that kind of burger, it's good. I got the double, which is just a double cheeseburger. And I didn't get their sauce, though. They have a weird spread. They call it spread. And it's literally mayonnaise and ketchup together. Now, I love mayonnaise. And I love ketchup. But when you mix them together, it makes me want to throw up. So I got no sauce. But everything else was good in it. And let's talk about the fries. The fries were okay. They definitely were. I remember why I thought they were like sawdust. But I was comparing them to like really good fries, like Brahms fries or even Chick-fil-A fries. And McDonald's fries if you go on a good day. So I was spoiled in that regard. The fries are okay. They're just really salty and kind of cheap tasting. They're not terrible, okay? You have to think of it like it's very much like a 1950s kind of burger joint. You know, another example of that is Burger House. Not Burger Street. That's really good too. But it's more similar to Burger House if you've ever been there. Anyways, that's my review of In-N-Out. I should just make a show where I review food places and movies. Okay, speaking of reviews, I forgot about this new show. I found another show on Amazon Freevee, which is basically the Amazon version of Pluto. If you don't know what Pluto TV is, it's literally just a streaming service, except it's free and you have ads. If you're having ads and it's free, I don't mind watching ads. Amazon, they're adding ads to Amazon Prime, so I think I'm going to cancel it pretty soon. Anyways, one show on Freevee is The Librarians. This show is really cool. It's right up my alley. It's kind of this like dumb sci-fi kind of show. It reminds me of Warehouse 13. There needs to be a genre for this, like magical artifacts show, where there's like this secret society of people and they look and track down artifacts that have magical magical properties, and then they store them, and then hilarity and chaos ensues. It's a great setup for a TV show. Warehouse 13 is an older sci-fi show, but it was just literally this warehouse where they have all these crazy objects, like a time machine that got stolen, stuff like that. Usually they're smaller objects that you can put in your hand. But anyways, it's called The Librarians. It stars Rebecca Romaine, and not Rebecca Romaine Stamos anymore because she divorced, Jesse from Full House. So I'd seen ads and stuff related to The Librarians for many years, and I never watched it. It seemed like a dumb, ABC type show, and I don't know where it aired originally. I can't seem to find it. Let me look it on Wikipedia. The Librarians, Wikipedia. Where did it air? Production. I don't know. Production, broadcast. Here. Universal Channel. Oh, it was on Sci-Fi. Only in Australia. That's weird. So there's 5 seasons. It went from 2014 to 2018. The main thing I want to note is that it looks great. The production value is off the charts. It's amazing how good the show looks. And I highly recommend it. It's right up my alley. If you like these kind of shows that are just like dumb little, one-off episodes, it's great. And it's got a lot of people you'll recognize. I like how one of the guys is like a jewel thief. One of them is like a cowboy. And one of them is like this redhead librarian type girl. And then the main star is Rebecca Romaine, who's like this special forces, Secret Service lady. And she basically is like the guardian to the librarians. They call it the Librarians because it's like a library it's like a magical library that's in this dimensional pocket. And it basically has there's all these portals and stuff. I don't want to get into it, but she is the guardian of the librarians. So the librarians, they all have knowledge about ancient artifacts and stuff like that. And then she's the no-nonsense policewoman who's no, I'm going to watch your back. And so she's kind of the leader, but not really. And it's a great show. I really like it. The guy from Lawnmower Man 2 is in it. Matt Frewer. He's got a terrible British accent. They should have just had him be American, but, it is what it is. This other lady named Leslie Ann Brandt is his right-hand man named Lamia. Shout out to her. She's super hot in this show. But yeah, it's a really good show. I like it. Sadly, there's only, I think it's 5 seasons. Maybe at least 2 or 3. Oh no, 4 seasons. Okay, honestly, with a TV show, any more than 1 or 2 seasons is successful. And if you can go 5 or 6 without making everybody hate you, that's pretty good. So yeah, I guess, where's my notes here? I guess that's it. The only thing I could think of is, on my last episode, I talked about my date with the sushi girl, and I'm still butthurt about it. Long story short is that the date did not go that well because she was basically interrogating me, and it wasn't fun at all. I was just trying to have a good time and get to know a new person, and it was like an interrogation. It wasn't really a job interview because we know dating, that's what dating is, right? It was like an interrogation. I've had a few months to soak it in, and I'm butthurt, and I think I wasn't too nice. I've learned not to be too nice. I think I wasn't mean enough. I should have been more douchey because, that's the only way to... It might be a bit controversial to say this, but you gotta be kind of an asshole, and I just wasn't a big enough jerk, and I think that's why she didn't like me. So I'm still butthurt about it, but, it is what it is. The sushi was good. And yeah, I think that's the whole show. This is about 40 minutes. So that's really long for a vlog, but whatever. It's fine. If you want to support us, click the links below. Buy some merch on letuswearclothing.com. Sign up for our streaming service on TemporarySpaceStudios.com. We got a short film that I made coming very soon. Special effects guys working on it. Check us out on Twitter, Instagram. I do have a Patreon. We are going to put a discount. If you go to the Patreon, it's like $1 a month. Nothing crazy. Or I think it's like $3 a month. And you basically just get a mention in the credits, and then you get discount codes for our merch store. So if you're into that, check it out. Twitter is really the only social media I do these days, so I actually post stuff on there. But yeah, like and subscribe, all that stuff. I'm your host with the most, Jim Lettuce. Drive safe and shit.